Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Another massive recruiting weekend for Mike Elko in this Texas A&M program. And we've talked about this over the last couple of months. The amount of buzz that Texas A&M is generating, not only in the transfer portal, but on the high school recruiting trail, the amount of talent that is making its way to College Station to go check out Mike Elko in this program is extremely exciting for me because I've made no secret about it. I've been very vocal that Mike Elko and this coaching staff that he's brought in, I truly think is one of the better player developing coaching staffs that you see in the country. And if you can maintain that recruiting dominance, I mean, that's the secret recipe, right? You're trying to win national championships, SEC championships, combining recruiting, talent evaluation, and acquisition with player development. That's the recipe, and it seems like Texas A&M checking those boxes off early in Mike Elko's tenure. Want to get into the visitor list for Texas A&M. Talk about some of my favorite prospects that will be on campus. This is just a select few guys. There is a ton of guys that will be on campus over the weekend. Wanted to highlight some of my favorite players. Before we get into it, just want to say thank you to you guys, and it truly has been a blast talking this Texas A&M program over the last couple of months, whether we're talking the recruiting trail, whether we're talking the transfer portal. The amount of support y'all have shown the boys truly does mean a lot. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll keep you guys as updated as possible with what Texas A&M is doing on the recruiting trail. And without further ado, let's get into this one. I want to start with arguably the most important visitor this weekend. That is quarterback Hassan Longstreet, set to commit on April 14th. And we did a film deep dive on Hassan Longstreet. This is one of my favorite quarterbacks in this 2025 class. Couple of things that I really like. One, extremely mobile. You talk about Colin Klein, what he wants to do in this Texas A&M offense. Going to ask his quarterbacks to be athletes, to get outside the pocket. Hassan Longstreet not only can make it happen with his legs, I think he's extremely good at extending plays, keeping an eyes downfield, and kind of will open up that offense for what Colin Klein wants to do. A couple other things. One, extremely live arm. This is a guy that not only does he have an extremely quick release, he has an extremely live arm, can attack down the field, can attack the boundary. Those are a lot of the boxes that you want to see checked. And I think Hassan Longstreet checks those boxes, and more importantly, is going to be a really good fit in what Texas A&M wants to do on the offensive side of the football. Next position group I want to take a look at, and I know Texas A&M fans are fired up about what they're doing on the offensive line. Let's take a look at five-star Michael Fusi, coming from the state of Texas. Back-to-back visits to Texas A&M. The Texas A&M fans were very vocal in the comments section over the last couple of weeks. The offensive line recruiting and developing has to get better under Mike Elko, and it looks like the recruiting certainly going to take a step up. It is no secret. Mike Elko knows how to win at the SEC. It starts on the line of scrimmage. Michael Fusi, extremely high upside tackle that at 6'4", looks bigger than 285 on the film. This is a mauler. This is a guy that plays both right tackle, plays left tackle. I think he certainly could play guard at the next level as well. You're getting a high upside offensive lineman that brings a ton of position versatility to Texas A&M. And at the end of the day, for Texas A&M, not only you got to get it done on the recruiting trail for the offensive line position, it is really hard to go into the transfer portal and address that position in the transfer portal. So you want to make sure you're getting it done at the high school level. Next player I want to talk about, sticking in the state of Texas, sticking on that offensive line, is Lamont Rogers. Now, Michael Fusi is a high upside prospect. I think Lamont Rogers might have a higher upside to him than Michael Fusi, and that is the frame and the size. You combine that with the athleticism, and it's special for Lamont Rogers. He's a guy that plays a little bit high at times. He has a basketball background, but what you see from that basketball background is superb functional athleticism, right? When you're talking about some of these really big offensive linemen coming from the high school ranks, yes, they might have that size, not always the most fluid functional athletes. Lamont Rogers, having been a very good basketball player, you can tell when you look at the film. Very good in pass protection, a guy that can get to the second level, be a good offensive lineman in space as well. The only knock on his film, and again, that will get cleaned up, is does seem to play a little bit high, which is hard when you're talking about a 6'7" prospect. Sometimes guys will kind of get into that chest a little bit. If you clean that up, this is a guy that I think could be a first-round NFL draft pick over the next couple of years. Again, with the development, Adam Cushing, I think the world of Adam Cushing. I think the world of Tommy Moffitt. Really like what Mike Elko has done in terms of selling on the recruiting trail, the development, because there are a lot of very good coaches that can get it done in the development department. Now, switching over to the defensive side of the football, one of the more intriguing prospects in this class, and I do think Trey McNutt plays defense at the next level, but a guy that's a two-way standout, runs a 10.8 in the 100-meter. Now, when you watch him on the film as a wide receiver, this guy could be a superb wide receiver. You make no mistake about that. He separates. He has phenomenal ball skills, really good after the catch. But when you look at him as a safety on the film, this is a guy that takes all of that experience on the offensive side of the football, the ball skills, the movement skills, and he puts it on the film as a safety as well. Really twitched up in terms of breaking on passes, playing the football in the air, but also a guy that has a ton of range in the back end of that safety room. I could see him playing nickel. I could see him playing safety. He's certainly big enough to play that box safety role. Ton of versatility, ton of different ways that you could slot Trey McNutt in. I think that's something that is probably something that Mike Elko's valuing on the recruiting trail in the transfer portal. We're hearing the rumors about Will Lee playing that safety position. I think Mike Elko wants to just get high-caliber athletes into that defensive back room. I think you could say the same thing for Terry Bussey in the 2024 class, and we'll figure it out. We'll get you in the right spot to be successful, but give us those athletes, and then we'll figure out where to get them in there and how to develop them. Trey McNutt, one of the premier athletes in that 2025 class, and another position-versatile guy that, in my mind, is probably just the pure most athletic linebacker in this 2025 class is Jonah Williams. This is a guy that not only is a phenomenal baseball player, there are rumors that he might go to the MLB draft. That's how good he is on the baseball diamond. Jonah Williams is a linebacker. This is a guy you turn on the film playing as an edge rusher, playing as a safety, playing as an off-ball linebacker. I like him most at the college football level as that off-ball linebacker because he checks off a lot of those boxes that you want in those modern day linebackers, where you look at opposing offenses, they want to get you in space. They want to ask linebackers to go make tackles in space, carry tight ends at the seam. You need linebackers that can match the speed and athleticism that offenses are putting on the field. And Jonah Williams, with all that experience as a safety at the high school level, then comes in as a linebacker and has that coverage ability, but also a frame at 6'3" that you can certainly get him up to 230 pounds and still maintain that functional and that speed and that athleticism that he has. Many of you guys know that when I'm talking linebackers at the high school level, I value long speed. I value athleticism and space. You're talking about Jonah Williams probably being the most athletic linebacker in this 2025 class. Last guy I want to talk about going back to the offensive side of the football is Andrew Marsh, and this is a very fun prospect to dive into the film with. He's a guy that not only can for sure create separation, work after the catch, has elite movement skills, but what I love most about Andrew Marsh's game is what he can do vertically down the field. This is a guy with a track background that can challenge defensive backs with speed, but the thing that stands out to me the most on the film is the body control and the athleticism to go up and make plays when that football is in the air. And we always talk about, how do you find special wide receivers? It's the wide receivers that can win in multiple ways. Andrew Marsh can win with the football in his hands, can win creating separation in his routes, but most importantly, can win down the field with a big frame and great body control and really fluid hand-eye coordination. This is a guy that can challenge defensive backs in a multitude of ways. One of the best wide receivers in this class. And every single guy we've talked about is a consensus top 100 national prospect. That's what, 6 guys that we just talked about, plenty more visiting. That kind of goes back to speak to the buzz that Texas A&M is creating on the recruiting trail. Now, are you going to name or land the commitments of all 6 prospects? No, probably not. But the fact that these guys have offers from every single program in the Power 5 and are all choosing to go check out College Station, Texas A&M, they're in that recruitment, that's a really good sign. I think it's going to be a very exciting next couple of weeks for Texas A&M on the recruiting trail. We'll keep you guys updated as it plays out. Appreciate y'all rocking with the fellas. Again, if y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.